sick.
Oh, the Tales of Puck, one of three. I want to go ahead and pull these out. You guys can pause it while I put this on screen. If you guys want to read it, give it a pause, read through them. From what I'm hearing, a lot of guys in different parts of the world, like the UK, aren't getting these tidbits. They're just getting, the Build-A-Figure and whatnot, or whatever. So, I'd like to provide these just for those who don't get them and get these little tidbit stories. For those who don't even have the comics, dating back that far with Puck, the adventures of Puck. Here he is with Psylocke, a little tidbit here. Now, this is a figure I was really looking forward to. Part of this Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure series, mini Build-A-Figure series that good old Wolverine. I have a feeling we're gonna get that Wolverine pretty soon. The brown suit. They're gonna probably redo him. But anyways, like I said, I was looking forward to this figure. Let's go ahead and bring him out. And I was disappointed, Hasbro had this, mini Build-A-Figure, guys. We're coming out with the mini Build-A-Figure for the year of 2012 or 2013. We're going to do this mini Build-A-Figure series. And, oh, wow, exciting. Rocket Raccoon and Puck, and never saw Hitmonkey coming. But disappointed. I feel like they got us excited and then they didn't execute. They gave us a half-assed job, considering this character is almost the size of a Marvel Universe figure, but he got the articulation of just a 90s figure almost, you know what I mean? Really poor articulation. Now, I do like the fact that they put a disc ball joint on the head peg so you can look up and look down, which is something important. That head sculpt looks great. Just take a look at this head. Man, that resembles Puck all the way, 100%. No doubt the sculpt is great, and it looks similar to be like the sculpt that Marvel Universe got. He's even got the seam going down the middle of his head, which looks real good. The mustache looks good. Look, Puck, man. Puck's looking a little Mexican there. He reminds me of that Mexican wrestler that came out, Nacho Libre. The first guy that Nacho Libre fought? The dude with the hairy chest? Kind of looks like him. But anyways, here he is, Puck. Looks all the way up. Let's go over articulation here. Looks all the way, almost all the way down. Looks pretty good. Looks down decent enough, which is good. I'm glad he does look up because he's looking up at his buddies half the time. No torso articulation here. He's got a shoulder peg joint with a disc, so you can move it around and up and down, all that good stuff. Single jointed elbow, which bums me out that we couldn't get a double joint there, or a disc peg joint for the wrist. Just I know they're probably doing it for stability, maybe so that character can hold himself up on that fist and the hand. But man, this guy is really agile. This guy's like an acrobat. So an acrobat should be very flexible. See that? That's horrible. Being that he's an acrobat, the guy should just be, he's super flexible. When you see the comics, Puck's like jumping and flipping and, the dude's like a little kung fu guy, man, and he's just all over the place. Cartwheeling, flipping, it popped out here. He could even go into a ball. He could fold himself up into a ball and smash villains that way, just run and hurl himself like a cannonball. But I guess you're supposed to use that hand to stand him on it. I've tried it a few times. It's not an easy task. You got to have a flat surface, and you got to use the legs and work with the elbow a little bit to. Well, it looks like you got a little ball joint peg in there. Okay, so he's really difficult to stand on one hand if that's the purpose that they gave him no wrist peg was so that it would be sturdy, but it's still a difficult task to get him to stand on his hand. Um, here he is. His legs don't quite do the splits, but they open up a bit. I would have liked to have seen a waist swivel and a torso flex. Anything. They didn't even give us the shitty torso flex that they made for Emma Frost and all the female figures. The one that doesn't do anything or doesn't move. They didn't even give him that, and they could have done that. So here's the leg. Leg goes forward quite a bit, which is good. They go out a decent amount. Pop this egg. It's gonna pop off right now. But it's got a decent amount of flex there. Single jointed knee, so it doesn't quite go all the way up, which kind of sucks. Once again, here the leg popped off. See, so it does pop off. Well, once again, this guy's just one of the most agile characters, and they just really didn't bring him justice. I kind of feel like here's the ankle pivot and rocker. I kind of feel like they just gave us the character, and it was rushed. Man, that really sucks. That single joint up there too sucks. Well, the paint's really good. Paint apps are really good. Like I said, and the sculpt is great. Just the articulation, a lot of times doesn't make sense. Whatever the excuses that they may give us, or if you ask what happened to Puck, and they may say this or they may say that. The years I've been going to Comic-Con, I'll honestly, the years I've been going to Comic-Con, they're just excuses, and they're just poor execution on behalf of the people who are in charge of adding the articulation to the character. It just really is. It's plain and simple. I don't know how else to put it, but to say that if it was me, when I worked at a company with my boss, my first boss, my boss would always tell me, I would tell him I can't get it done, and my boss would tell me, if you can't get it done, Anthony, I'm gonna get somebody who can. And a lot of times that's what I feel like telling him, like, you guys just make excuses of why you can't art articulation, or you can't do this or you can't do that. But to me, they're just excuses. There's plenty of other companies and plenty of other people who do it, and I think they've got such a commune and family in Hasbro that they're probably scared, or they don't stand up to the employees and really push them to excel. They're all comfortable, and they're all comfortable with their positions, but sometimes I think a company like that needs an asshole boss, somebody to come in and say, hey, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? And if they say, well, we gave him this articulation because, the aesthetic of the body doesn't allow it, I would just, if they had an asshole boss, he would say, look, man, if you can't do it, Dwight or whoever's doing the figure, if you can't do it, I'll just hire somebody who can. And it would probably push people to want to do a better job. But, once again, different companies, different strokes for different folks. They have a certain way of running business, and, they'll continue to do, half-assed jobs. Great sculpt, great everything, but just half-assed job when it comes to articulation. So very disappointed. Here he is on height comparison. A lot of people are complaining that this figure looked a little too small. But he's right on it, man. This looks awkward, right? But he's right on it, man. That's his height. That's a great height. He's about a little over a third of the body size of a regular 6-inch character, a regular Marvel Universe character. He is considered to be a dwarf. He's not a midget. A midget would be a little bit taller. He's a dwarf. So dwarfism means you're shorter than a midget, So this is, for me, this is right on. This is spot on for me. So as far as height, as far as scale, I am completely happy with the scale of this figure. We'll pan out too so you guys can get a good look. I believe this is Puck's actual height. A lot of times he's been drawn different in comics, but I personally like this petite, small, dwarfy look on Puck. I like it. It works well with me, and it suits my collection. It suits what I like to do with him. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the review. More coming soon. Take care.